Gerry Adams, without interruption. Thank you.
Taoiseach, yesterday you told us that the Minister of Justice would clear up a number of very serious issues which are undermining confidence in the administration of justice and the Gardaí. And this morning, for example, Minister Shatter had the opportunity to withdraw his disgraceful remarks about Garda John Wilson and Sergeant Maurice McCabe. He refused to do that. Now, Taoiseach, is that acceptable? Yesterday you briefed myself and Shatter Martin, and I thank you for that. You told us that you were made aware on Sunday that there were very serious revelations emerging about the illegal recording by Gardaí of phone calls in and out of Garda stations. But after the briefing it emerged that this practice had been brought to the government's attention on at least 3 occasions. One, the publication of the GSOC report in June 2013. 2, the discontinuation of this practice in November 2013. And yesterday in this chamber, Taoiseach, I asked you if the Garda Commissioner knew of the phone recordings before he put in his letter of retirement. You refused to answer me. Now we know that not only did he know, but that he wrote to the government about this. Now, I have no reason to disbelieve your assertion that you only knew about all of this on Sunday. I accept you at your word. But is that acceptable to you when the Justice Department, when the Minister is in the eye of a storm, a tsunami, a saga of tsunamis, of controversy? You weren't told. The Taoiseach wasn't told. What sort of government are you running? We talk about dysfunctionality. Why weren't you told? My personal loyalty may be an admirable trait, but I'm sure that you would agree that it could not and should not be put before the common good. And Taoiseach, if you keep backing Minister Shatter, that's what you're doing. You're bringing your own office into this controversy by standing over something which is clearly and patently. Leave every other consideration to one side, leave everything else out of it. Incompetence is a good reason to get rid of Minister Shatter. So, Taoiseach, would you reflect on all of this? Step outside of your office for a moment. Look at how this will be looked at by ordinary citizens out there and do the right thing. And ask Minister Shatter to go.
Taoiseach.
Deputy Adams, thank you for your contribution. As I said, on the Ombudsman's report in respect of the Waterford case, the court held that the practice engaged in by the Gardaí at Waterford Garda Station refers to that specific case. And the trial that was conducted by the working group set up by the Gardaí, not associated with the Attorney General's office, came to the conclusion that there were far more tapes than just the Waterford case. We now know the extent of the first tranche of that up to 2008. Beyond the digital recordings, the extent of those I don't know, and that's why we've set up the Commission of Investigation to look at all of that issue. Minister Shatter was not to deal with the question of the whistleblowers on this section of today's discussions. This deals with the revelation of the extent of tape recordings that are out there, what they mean and what they might mean for court cases that either have been held or court cases that will be pending. Clearly, there are implications here for defence lawyers or for people who are involved in court cases. And to be honest with you, I do not know the content of the vast majority of any of those tapes, because they have to be transcribed. They may be very ordinary queries, they may be very ordinary matters. The point is that in the Waterford case, Justice Reynolds deemed the information to be inadmissible. I'd make the point here that I don't get a chance to read everything, obviously, I can't. I wasn't aware, for instance, of the sad cases in Port Alicia in the hospital until it was brought to the attention by the parents, until you get your facts right and determine what actually happened. I know it's not related to the justice area, but it's parallel. In this case here, I actually went back and read the documentation about the Mahoney report in respect of the whistleblowers, I find, Deputy Adams, that there wasn't enough done by the Gardaí to engage with the whistleblowers in the presenting of their information. There wasn't enough done. And I expect Minister Shatter to deal with that when he comes to address the Garda Inspector's report here today. Now, I think it's important, Deputy Adams, that when people attack independently appointed people, that they know what they're about. Deputy Martin chose at his Ardèche at the weekend to attack an independent commission for deliberate political gerrymandering of areas for local elections. He's very conveniently retreated into his shell about that. But I also think, Deputy Adams, as you would be well aware, it's critical that the Attorney General have all of the facts at her disposal. The real issue here, Deputy Adams, is that this had to be brought to a head, because the discovery process in the case being mentioned in particular had to be dealt with this week, and the determination of the discovery included a number of tapes that have been assessed, which have really critical information on them arising from conversations. And in the course of all of that process of discovery, the trawl suddenly discovered the extent and the range of tapes around the country, up to 2008 and beyond in the digital area. So, in that sense, you asked me why didn't the Minister use his opportunity this morning to deal with the whistleblowers. Well, the whole day is actually taken up here with the justice area, and the Minister will not only come in but also deal with questions and answers arising from the report of the Garda Inspectorate. So I hope that answers your questions for you, Deputy Adams. My intention here is to see that all these things are sorted out, and that we proceed ahead and following the government decisions here to continue to sort them out, but build an independent authority for Garda Síochána that every citizen in our country can be proud of.
That microphone. Deputy Adams.
I'm sorry to tell you, Taoiseach, it doesn't answer my question. I asked you, was it acceptable that you were not told why there's such a focus on malpractice and allegations of misconduct and illegality, that you were not told of these latest developments? And you also didn't answer my question when I said to you yesterday, was the Commissioner aware before he retired of the phone recordings? And of course he was. So we're dragging this out word by word, sentence by sentence. This practice of phone recording was first raised here in this chamber 20 years ago. Check it out. Look at it. Now, would you take the opportunity now, Taoiseach, to apologise to the whistleblowers? Would you stand up now and exonerate these men, commend them for what they did, and show them the government's appreciation of the stand they took against the odds, which has now led to, we hope, a better system of justice in this state in the time ahead? And secondly, I repeat what I said earlier. Personal loyalty is admirable, and the Minister may be all sorts of good things, but incompetence is not a qualification for being a Minister for Justice. You should stand down, Taoiseach, and you should ask him to do that.
Well, you see, David Adams, you're focusing on a head here. That's what you want. And a head. That's all you want. Yeah. Like I would just say, if it was the Minister for Justice has abolished the confidential recipient.
We want to hear, please. Thank you.
The Minister for Justice abolished the confidential recipient process because it wasn't working. The Minister for Justice was the first person to say that GSOC was inadequate in its capacity and its range and remit to do its job. The Minister for Justice referred the terms of reference to the Oireachtas Committee, representative of all people. The Minister for Justice appointed Justice Cook on the government's recommendation, and Mr. Gearan SC, to look into serious matters. This gentleman over here waved a paper in front of me with 12 serious matters on it, ranging from murder to assault to brutality. Was I to leave that without it being actioned? So what we did was have the government appoint an accomplished and competent criminal lawyer to look. All of those things, Deputy Adams, are going to come back in here. All of them are going to be debated in public. There is nothing going to be hidden under the carpet like happened in years gone by. So what we're at is having openness and accountability, because for me, public accountability is critical for the integrity of this state and all its citizens. And I'll take no lectures from anybody from not doing what is right here. And what is right? What is right, Deputy Adams? What is right, Deputy Adams, is to deal with these issues. Why leave these lingering sores that have been around for years? Why not be able to sort it out? And that's why the decisions made yesterday are going to deal with this in terms of clarity, in terms of building a new edifice, an independent authority that all our citizens can be proud of. And there's, if you like, both parties in government had this as a central feature of their joint claims back in 2006. Now, well, Deputy McGrath, if you want to laugh at something that is fundamentally, well, you may do so. Mr. Adams, Gerry Adams, the Minister for Justice will deal with the issue that you referred to when he speaks on the inspector's report later this morning.